What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's been like 8 years. Feel like
I'm dead.
welcome back to the Double Dribble Podcast. As always, I'm Destin.
And I'm Drew.
That's Drew,
Man,
man. Drew, man. It's been a minute. You know what I'm saying? I got glasses now. You know what I'm saying?
he lost his vision. That's
I'm-
why we couldn't, that's why we were gone for so long. We were
Yeah, man. I couldn't
dealing with
see. I once was blind, but now I see. So now we finna get
Hmm.
to the nitty gritty. What's up, Drew?
Yeah.
Man, how you been, man? How you been feeling about this playoff so far?
I must say, I'm feeling better than you are right now, my man. I'm feeling much better
You know
because
what? You know what? We got a lot to catch up on as far as we talk basketball, but as far as the pod and the stream, we got a lot to catch up on as far as things that been happening throughout this past season, trades and all that. But if you, so I'm gonna let y'all know. Me and Drew the other day we went to the Rockets playoff game. Game 2 versus Golden State. Man, that was I don't know. I'm not gonna speak for Drew, but for myself, I would say that was the most
it
um
was it was amazing.
like intense basketball game I ever seen. Like intense basketball experience, I would say. Like it was
Nah, it was fun as hell. That was the first playoff game. That was the first playoff game you've been to too, right?
yeah, that's the first
Yeah,
playoff game I ever been to. So.
man. We had so much, like there was so much drama. We were talking trash to Draymond. A lot of people probably
Oh,
saw like Steve Kerr talking to the media, talking about how he was bothered by what the crowd was saying. But Draymond really does bring it on himself, like more than any player out there. He's the one. He's always tangled up with somebody. He's always locking arms with somebody, falling and
yeah.
flailing, flopping.
If everywhere you go and something happening, it gotta be you, bro. Like it's a common denominator somewhere. But I remember like you saying after the game, you said we got the full Draymond experience.
Yeah,
What's this?
this is from when we were at the game. This is literally what we walked out to. This shit looks.
That was insane.
And then of course we got the Curry fan right here.
It was funny. It was another Warriors fan that walked in front of us, and before the game, like they had the Golden State
Man,
jersey
this
on.
dude
Yeah.
last second.
Oh, that's the video I recorded. Wait, can you hear it?
Yeah.
That was hilarious. I can't hear it, but it had after
Bro,
the game.
man, after the
Yeah, yeah,
game.
yes,
Oh,
yes. So, I don't know if you had
yeah.
that clip, but you can show after the game. He put the Rocket shirt on.
Oh yeah, I think I
I
got
ain't
it.
got mine
This
on right
dude.
now. I just gotta what they say, ship your donuts.
Let me see, because yeah, that dude, like, really, it was in the middle of the game. I think when we were blowing him out, probably like fourth quarter, he switched to putting on the Rocket shirt. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah,
This dude right here was killing me.
that's how Warriors fans are though, bro. Like I was telling
Right? True bandwagon.
yeah, bro. I was telling Trey the other day at work. I was like, man, I didn't know a single Golden State fan until like 2015 or 2016. I didn't know a single Golden State fan, and then all of a sudden, all these everybody a Golden State fan, just like that guy, they losing. Then he gonna put on the Rocket shirt. I mean, that's just what they do.
Exactly.
Yeah, but nah, that game was a great experience. Jalen Green went off. We had like a bet at the game where like Drew had a pizza, and I was like, Drew, you can't eat the pizza unless Jalen Green score because Jalen didn't have a good game one. So I was like, man, look, you're gonna get this pizza, but you gotta wait. And then Drew, he started first. He was a little nervous because Jalen had a bad turnover. I was like, man, Drew might star. Next thing you know, Jalen Green started hooping. and then Drew started eating. So
Like,
it worked out.
Put this up here.
Nah, that was fun. That
was you hear the audio?
Yeah.
This old dude though had us cracking up. This old dude was killing me.
Yeah, to do like that.
I ain't gonna lie, highly recommend going to a playoff game. This shit different, bro. Atmosphere, this shit different. Hostile at? On who? I think it's Tari and Draymond. Oh no.
Nah, but they might do some stupid shit like give us like a suspension or something.
Look. Lee.
Why you doing this podcast?
Talking shit to me, he's like, yeah, I want on your podcast. All right, everybody, what do we say?
They just talking. Just having a conversation.
Hey, that's nothing. That's nothing.
Want the working link?
Oh, he threw a towel.
Wow, he threw a towel.
This motherfucker Draymond's been throwing elbows for 15 years. A fucking towel? That's really a towel? He's been elbowing people in their jaw, kicking Steven Adams in the nuts twice.
Yes.
Back. Twice. Had to be like, Steven Adams in the nuts twice. You throw Malagate for a towel? Fuck that. Fuck that.
Hey, he landed that towel clean on his face though. That towel landed clean. Covered his whole face.
Look at that at Spencer.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're right. Spencer was saying something. But that dude was like for half the game was like their leading scorer or something. But man. That was
that was insane, bro. We got to find a way. I was looking at the game 5, but it's next Wednesday. But I gotta work. But I work that evening though. But definitely recommend a playoff game. I know if Rockets make it to the next round, the Lakers make it to the next round. I know them tickets gonna be.
They're gonna be insane.
They're gonna be insane.
I'm still gonna try and go to one.
Yeah, for sure.
But
All right. So enough about that game. Well, we can speak about that series if you want to start there.
And let's lead right into it. So,
okay,
game 1, we all know what happened. Really, the backcourt of the Houston Rockets had a complete no-show. Fred VanVleet was out here chucking threes. I think he was like 4 for 15 or something crazy like that. And Jalen had, if you take what he said after the game, because he said to think that this is kind of unusual for a player to just come out and say this, it's, especially in the NBA, to be like just straight up saying that the moment was too big for you. He literally said that.
Yeah, he did.
He said the lights were really bright and he was having jitters and he was nervous and he didn't know how to he literally just was saying that he wasn't ready mentally for the moment. Like he couldn't handle the pressure of it being, and it is his first playoff game. He is just 23. So that has to be taken somewhat into consideration. But even a 23-year-old in the first playoff game, we never see them come out and say that. That's what I was surprised. Like the honesty, I kind of appreciate the honesty. I'll be honest. Still, the performance is unacceptable because you were out there looking completely lost and you were taking the dumbest shots. Like this dude was just forcing up. Yeah, it was like he was forcing up the stupid drives to the rim, throwing the ball up at the hoop, contested. Like he was giving up easier looks for harder shots. He was turning the ball over, making very stupid decisions. That really is what cost him the game because we had a Jimmy Butler playoff Jimmy type performance, and we had Steph Curry making everything in game 1. Like he made a ridiculous falling out of bounds fadeaway 3-pointer turn around.
You talking about doing on Amen?
No, Curry.
No, the one he hit on. He hit it on Amen.
No. No. Well, that one too, but I'm talking about the one he hit on Jalen. Jalen was guarding him, and he was going to the corner and like or to the wing, I want to say, and he just turned around. He turned around, and just launched it, and fell out of bounds. Like it was an insane shot. That's one of the craziest shots I've seen Curry make, and we've seen Curry make a ton of insane shots. Not as far as like how deep it was, just the contest. Like Jalen couldn't have played that any better. It was just nothing you could do about it. But even with all that, Curry making every BS shot you could possibly imagine, and Jimmy and balling out of his mind. Jimmy was playing great, and we were still a 3-point game in the fourth quarter with a few minutes left because our defense has been that great. The Rockets defense has been tremendous. I know people are going to be like, "Oh, yeah, that ain't defense. They're just grabbing and getting away with fouls, and all they holding every single play." Yeah, there is some holding going on. There is some grabbing going on. That is true. You know what else is going on? That's been going on for years. Illegal screens and Draymond Green. Oh, that rhymes. Illegal screens and Draymond Green. There we go. Because that's literally what's going on. Yeah, and who benefits a lot and has been benefiting a lot for years from this physical. Exactly, because people talk about the physical defense off ball, and that's true. In the playoffs, refs don't catch on to that as much because the refs are watching the ball more, right? Usually on ball fouls get a little bit more attention. And so the same thing goes with things like screens. Guys are allowed to get away a little bit more often, especially if you do it if the entire structure of your offense is a big part of your whole entire, system, screening and off-ball movement, especially when it comes to your best player. And you guys are able to get away with some, close, questionable screens, which they even did that game. And game 2. I remember one, like Amen got like laid out on a screen, and Curry got a wide open triple. And that was he was not set. I think it was Moses Moody. He definitely was moving. Men banged right into the screen, was dropped to the ground in game 2, the one that we were at. And Curry hit a wide open triple. Nobody's saying, "Oh, this is a legal screen." Nobody's replaying that, right? Because they're used to it. Because this is what the Warriors do. What people aren't used to is or they don't like it is they being too physical with Steph. They grabbing and they holding and when he's running around without the ball. Yeah. But physicality not being called benefits the Warriors more than it benefits the Rockets because they need to be able to play that way offensively. And so we're getting to get back on defense in a way. But yeah, so it is a big part of why I said I think officiating is going to impact how this series goes. Because if they call it tight, they could call it tight on off-ball plays. They can call it tight all over the place. If they call it tight, we got to be OD aggressive. We got to be attacking, going to the rim. How
you feel the officiating was in that game too? Because I honestly feel like the Warriors, they got, especially Draymond, he got the benefit of a lot of calls, a lot of physical play. Like when that play, even the play Jimmy got hurt. Yeah, Amen accidentally fell into him, but he was tripped by Draymond. It was a foul on Dylan Brooks. Did they give him a technical for that? I can't remember. But it was something happened with Dylan Brooks, and they called a foul on. It was Dylan Brooks and Draymond. Draymond pushed him, and they gave Dylan Brooks the foul. And then the other one, you remember the other one when we was talking about? It was like Amen was holding Draymond, but Draymond was kind of holding him too, and Draymond pushed him to the ground.
Yeah, that one was the one that there was a few of them that I was like, this is ridiculous. Draymond is just getting away with murder out there. But I looked at a few of them over again, and the men one is the one I'm gonna be like, you know what? I can see the refs why they called the foul on the men. They were late as hell with the call though. So Amen grabbed him first. Amen was the one that did the initial foul, but they didn't whistle anything. And then Draymond just launched into him, threw him down, was throwing his arms up in the air. And then they called a foul, and they called it on the men. And I'm like, it looked really stupid if you just watching the whole play and you see when they called it, it looks like Draymond did everything. But men technically.
What happened? Notification. He not playing game 4. They're gonna lose anyway.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. We can talk about that briefly too, but yeah, like But yeah, what I want to say one thing about that game, because everyone was all the Warriors fixated on, and a lot of the media talking heads, all they could talk about was the Amen Thompson, Jimmy Butler play, and I saw
I seen it a lot.
90+% of people calling that play dirty were Warriors fans.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way if you actually really, and I watched that play probably, I don't know, 10 times in a row, like replay, slow-mo, seeing every angle. There is no way you're telling me a man was trying to do a dirty play there to injure Jimmy Butler. First of all, if you pause it, you literally see this man falling down before Jimmy has even left the ground. Jimmy's still on the floor before he has even jumped up for the rebound. Amen is already falling over. And the reason he's falling over is, as we know, Amen is a hellacious rebounder. So as soon as he misses his shot or he puts it up, he's going to crash the glass. So he puts it up. He knows that he missed his floater. He's going to crash the glass.
Draymond the goofball. I was replying to somebody.
He got Draymond down there, and you got Steven Adams right there in between him. And the first thing you see Draymond do, Draymond doesn't box him out. Draymond grabs Amen's arm, trying to hold him back. And Amen's already going forward. And he grabs his arm, and as Amen's going forward, Amen's foot gets caught in between his foot, Draymond, and Steven Adams' foot. And then he gets free from Draymond's grasp. And what happens? Obviously, your momentum's going to carry you forward. And as you're naturally going forward, you're not just going to fall forward. Like, people don't fall forward and just hit their head on the ground. If you can, you're going to stick your hands out because you brace your fall. And what happens? Jimmy's jumping in the air, and he goes right into Jimmy Butler's lower body, legs, whatever. And then Jimmy falls around his ass, and now he got a bruised ass or bruised pelvic contusion. But it's not structural damage. He's gonna be fine. Well,
they say anything about him? His availability for tonight? Game 3
questionable for tonight. And we know it's Jimmy Butler. He's gonna be playing tonight. He's questionable. Questionable is the.
I don't know, man. If you fall on your tailbone.
Whenever they say questionable, we know questionable. Questionable is the lowest one. It's the lowest one. Everything after questionable is a higher risk of you missing the game. So they gave him the minimum.
So it's like doubtful.
Questionable is the lowest one. It's questionable, then I think it's doubtful. I think it's probable, and then something else.
No, yes, it's doubtful. Questionable. No, it's like
questionable is the lightest one.
Questionable. Yeah, doubtful, questionable, probable, and then available.
But so like he's gonna be playing, and not only is he gonna be playing, the question is really gonna be, how is it gonna be impacting him as far as pain? Is it gonna limit him that much? Because I really think it's just gonna be a pain thing. I don't think it's gonna be like he's gonna be able to play now. That we'll see. We've seen Jimmy play hurt before, and look very shaky. I want to say it was like a couple years ago.
I don't know if you remember, like some years ago, when he was having that whole playoff Jimmy run, but he got hurt versus the Bucks. I want to say either the Bucks or the Knicks. I don't know.
The Knicks he was playing hurt against.
Yeah, he had that tailbone. It was like a tailbone injury, I believe. And then after that, man, he was very sus the rest of those games. The rest of that run, even in the finals, like Bam was their best player in the finals. Because against Boston, they almost took away a 3-0 lead. And he was playing very sus. So
he had the first couple games though. I remember he was huge in Boston. But but yeah, we're gonna see tonight. But I would be shocked if he's not playing game 3. Like they did the MRI, there's no damage. It's literally just gonna be a pain tolerance issue. And this dude, we know he hasn't won a championship. He's hungry. He wants to win. He's gonna come out there and he's gonna at least.
I'm replying to the Instagram comments.
Yeah, he's at least gonna be a decoy.
Someone said they need him to be 100% or they screwed. I agree. And then my partner Dono, he said Timberwolves, a bank jug, ghost with hooves, Lakers and 6.
Damn, man, that rhyme ain't hitting right now. I'm gonna need a better one because I want to.
I was about to say you glitching out. Lakers and 6, baby.
Lakers and 6 is what I had going into the playoffs. We're gonna see.
So I mean, speaking of Lakers, we can go ahead and pivot to that series too. So
hold on. Before we let me 1 second. Jalen Green, man. Hold on a second.
Oh, I thought you spoke about Jalen already.
I mean, game one, I talked about
Wait,
how
wait,
bad he
let's-
played.
Yeah, okay.
But-
Yeah,
but
now let's give him his
game
flowers.
two-
You're right.
Game 2 was the Jalen Green game. It was a masterclass.
Yes.
He stepped on the court and he outplayed Stephen Curry. He
Wardell,
outplayed him.
Stephen Curry.
It's Wardell, Stephen Curry.
Jr.
What, the third, right?
He a
But,
junior.
Yeah.
I think he's a junior.
Yeah, he had everything going. He had 3-ball going. He was getting downhill. Decision making outside of really just that one play early in the first quarter. Decision making was on point. He was drawing in the defense, dropping it off to men, kicking it out. Was fantastic in transition. Step back 3. He was defense was amazing. I've never seen and Jalen's played some good defense this year. He's had some. I would say this year he's been an above average defender for the season, right?
Yeah,
that is the best defense I've ever seen Jalen play in any single game.
Yeah,
because I'm not just talking about like
diving on the ball and
the hustle. Like I'm not just talking about like you get not forget like he had 3 steals, but it's not like the steals don't even matter. The numbers, the defensive whatever counting stats, that's irrelevant. His like on ball pressure. His team defense, him rotating.
Rotate. Like I was just gonna speak on his rotations because when you playing like, especially just playing like a team like Golden State who has so many different actions off ball with screening and trying to free up Steph Curry, you gotta communicate and you gotta rotate like crisp and effectively. And if you don't have a decent basketball IQ, you're gonna be stuck in mud, and then you're gonna give 2 threes, coach gonna yank you off the game. So I mean, just from seeing that from him specifically, just his rotations and communicating, on-ball defense effort, that's been huge in his development. That's some on top of the offensive stuff. I know you're gonna speak on that, but yeah.
No, yeah, like that was honestly that's what kind of
no bullshit. They need me. I'm gonna protect the rim.
That's what surprised me the most about the game because I mean, of course, it's also a big thing for like for a player to have a game like he had in game 1 and then bounce back the way he did and have what really is the best game of his career. Because if you factor in the stakes, like he's had better scoring performances, higher scoring performances, more efficient scoring performances, whatever. But 38 points in your second playoff game of your career, 23 years old, franchise history, youngest player to do that, and you doing it against the Warriors and with all that pressure, like that to me is what impressed me. But I really want to know what Ime was telling these dudes after game 1, because you could see everybody defensively was locked. Like there was like the intensity was ridiculous. Like we were watching the game and we didn't really see them make any notable. Like there was maybe a few mistakes that they really made. That was like, oh, like this just bad.
But they was hitting tough. Like I remember at the beginning of the game, it was like Moody. It was getting like it was like off of like a fake like deflection.
Yes,
they deflected and somebody wound up with an open 3.
Yeah, it was Moody in the corner.
Even before that, like people gonna say, oh well, Jimmy, it's because Jimmy got hurt. Man, they was locked in before the Jimmy injury.
Yes, like you could see Jalen and people. Oh, he only went off because Jimmy don't even be guarding him like that. Jimmy is like Jimmy barely guards him.
It'd be like Gary Payton,
GP,
Moody,
and then exactly, and then whenever they put out like whoever bigs, we get the switch. Like I know like that Post was playing, so we got the switch.
I remember he put a move on Buddy Hield.
He was
he had Buddy Hield spent.
Yeah,
look, I remember this was my like after the game, I was hyped because I was proud of Jalen, bro. I was upset at the game 1. I was like, man, you need to figure out what type of player you're gonna be. So we walking to our car after the game. Look. I'm like, man, Danny Green, that's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what you need to do.
Man.
And it's not like I know you're not gonna score 30, 38 to 40 points every game. Like I know that, but
7 points.
Had that same like mindset and like aggressiveness. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. The game 1, he just was not focused at all, and he was deferring. He wasn't coming to the ball, and game 2, it was like from the beginning, like I think Ime even like made a point to be like, you're gonna have the ball majority of the possessions. We're starting with you. Primary initiation, Jalen, go get it. While game 1, it was kind of like, oh, Fred, you're gonna play with a little bit. You're gonna come out there with the ball, and we just gonna figure out what we want to do. We're gonna get it to Sengun. No. Game 2, it was like Jalen downhill attack. And
they was going to him early. Like the first few plays, they was putting the ball in his hands to either go score or create a play.
Which I think you really need to do with this dude to like really get to get him as aggressive as he needs to be, because unfortunately he's still young, and that's his issues to me have always been mental. Like his inconsistencies to me have so much been mental, and the way to get the most out of him is you gotta like embolden him and make him be as aggressive as much as possible, make him attack as much as possible. You don't want Jalen just floating around, sitting in the corner, picking his spots. No, he needs to like make an impact immediately, like on the game. And him and Sengun, I didn't even really talk about, but he was fantastic. He's been consistent and our best player, like overall, the first 2 games.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I want to see him continue in Golden State, which I think he has a matchup advantage, so he should be able to continue that. And we've been dominating these dudes on the glass. So if we just have a
7:30 tonight,
7:30 tonight, yeah. If we just have a decent, efficient game for some of these role players, I gotta feel like Fred. He got to have one of those games coming, because Fred's been having like games like this all season where he's not particularly efficient shooting the ball, but then he will pop off. He'll have a game where he'll pop off, and a lot of times it'll be on the road where he'll pop off for like 25 to 30 and hit like 5-6 3-pointers. This would be a huge night to do it. Like we need Fred to show up in one of these games on the road, because typically and it has been the case for these playoffs, as it is for most playoffs. What do they say? Role players play their best on the road, right?
Nah,
I'm tripping. Role players play the best at home. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm tripping. So I expect a lot of our role players to probably not play well this game 3, unfortunately. And but I'm hoping that Fred, with the experience and having been there and having big games in the playoffs on the road,
won against his team, he won the championship.
Yeah, I'm expecting him to have at least a key moment contributing in one of these games on the road, because he's not like just a typical role player. He's been an all-star before. He's been through he's had the experience. So it was a one-time all-star, but it was still an all-star.
What do you call it? I call it Mo Williams all-star.
Hey, to be fair though, that was an all-star where he didn't have Kawhi on the team. It was post Kawhi. So true. He was arguably the best player on the team. I mean, it was him and Siakam probably.
Siakam, yeah. Siakam. Yeah, I think they was trying to figure out what their identity was going to be. I remember that team.
And they were still like,
but yeah, man. Shout out to Jalen Green. Shout out to the Rockets, man. I hope if the Lakers don't do nothing, I hope the Rockets do it for real. Because they
the Jalen Green game in game 2, and now we had last night the Jalen McDaniels game for the
Jaden McDaniels game.
Jaden, I'm tripping. Jaden, his brother Jalen.
Freaking bum. Nah, I ain't gonna lie.
Is his brother even in the league anymore? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I can't even remember. I remember his brother was on Charlotte. He was on the Hornets, and he was on.
They were like twins. Ain't they twins?
Nah, they look very alike though. I don't think they're twins.
They built the same.
Yeah.
But where my phone at? Oh, I'm tripping. That's right. Yeah, Jaden McDaniels. So yeah, let's speak on that. So yesterday that game was it was pretty close. Like throughout, I know like they ended up winning by 12, but that game was close. Like
it was way closer than that.
Yeah, it was way close. Like throughout the entire game. The biggest thing, I mean, we found out as soon as the game started, Luka had
stomach flu.
Yeah, he had some type of flu, and I'm like, oh Lord, how come we didn't hear about this before the game started? But hey, the old man was out there doing his thing, carrying the troops.
I'm not gonna lie. When he hit that third straight 3 in a row.
Yeah. Like, 3 threes in a row.
Yeah, and they were all like the same type of 3. Like he just like it was like the same spot, pull up.
Yeah, but that was like that last one was like real deep.
Oh, contested. Yeah, it was contested.
Yeah. And it was deep. I was like, oh, all right, LeBron. So that was a great game. I want to give some credit to Julius Randle. Julius Randle, a known playoff dropper, known playoff pooper, has been having some really good. He has been really good these last couple games, and they won game one, of course. Now that being said, they taking some things take advantage of the Lakers' lack of size. I mean, we got a Jackson Hayes that our only 7-footer, and I only player like above 6'10", really, and he's not really like reliable, like to say the least. Like he's not terrible, but he's not reliable at all. So when you have to deal with Naz Reid and Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert, all these bigs, the one major area that we losing in is the offensive glass. And on top of that, we were turning the ball over a lot yesterday and missed too many free throws. LeBron and Luka missed free throws, missed a lot of free throws yesterday. So that's an area like I think I sent this to you the other day and I sent it to somebody else. I knew Minnesota was a physical team. I didn't realize they were that super physical. Like they have everybody crashing the glass. They like real big, strong, almost like
I think
every
also though they
position.
probably kind of like they forcing the issue. I think in that regard too, because they know that like this has to be where they could try and take advantage of the Lakers.
Yeah.
And so they probably have a focus. Like I'm pretty sure part of the game plan from Finch is like, we're bigger than these dudes. We gotta, intimidate our will when it comes to like dominating the glass. In a similar sense to what the Rockets are trying to do to the Warriors. Although I think that like it's probably more drastic with the Rockets Warriors series than it is with the Lakers and the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
But,
and I think it's been working to their advantage so far because like game one, like they stifled us so much defensively. They tore us up on the offensive glass. And Jaden McDaniels, games 1 and 3, has just been otherworldly. Like what he had 30 yesterday. And a lot of his buckets, like if you look at a lot of his buckets, he just driving by Luka, driving by Austin Reeves almost every time.
That was from the beginning of the game. He was just getting whatever he wanted right past Luka. I was like, nah, that ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah, and like I know Luka's sick, but even the healthy Luka, I don't think he stopped half of those drives. So yeah, that's just I think that's our major like downfall. I still think like I'm not like worried about this series really. Now if we go down 3-1, I'll be a little nervous, but I still think we fine. But it's a glaring weakness in our roster, like a lack of physicality, lack of rim protection. Depending on who we end up could potentially be facing in the next few rounds if we get past Minnesota. So yeah, that's what Minnesota been taking to their advantage. I want to get Anthony Edwards his flowers too. He been hooping. And I see a huge growth in his playmaking. He passing the ball, like he making great reads. It was this play toward the end of the game, last game. He drove like right wing, right baseline, something like that, and he made this dime to Naz Reid on the left wing for a 3. And that's just that's been a huge in his development as a player. Just the
yeah, that's been one of his weaknesses.
Vision, passing, playmaking, because the Lakers, they like, nah, we gonna make somebody else beat us. We're gonna send to Anthony Edwards. We're gonna cut him off, cut his water off when we can, and try to see what he can do to get others involved. And he's been making great reads, passing, and so I want to give him credit on that. On top of still making big shots. Shout out to him, by the way. He made the most threes in the league this year, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Coming into the league, meant somebody who just who I called him a tank when he came in the league. He was just going to the rim, finishing. Jump shot still needed a lot of work. And now this is year 4, 5 for him, maybe.
Year 5.
And man, he made the most threes in the league. Shot a great percentage, high percentage on those. So shout out to Ant. But yeah, Lakers, get it together, man. Get it together.
Really, it's just gonna come down to Luka, really, because I
Yeah.
think if Luka's giving you an average performance, y'all still pull away in that fourth quarter, especially when LeBron was doing what he was doing.
Yeah,
Like LeBron was
goes,
carrying from the jump, and even Reeves had a pretty solid performance for what he's capable of doing. But Luka was so bad, both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
he was losing the ball, dribbling it out. I think he had like a play early in the first quarter where he just lost the ball, and I was like,
like he got locked up by Rudy Gobert.
Gobert hasn't even been like, it's weird. Like he's had, if you just look at like his production, it's been like nothing in this series. But
his presence,
he's had like some good defensive stops, like as far as just like his individual one-on-one defense.
And he's getting his he's such a problem on the offensive boards. It's creating, like, you have to go catch his body. He's tipping it out. He's like tipping it toward the rim, tipping it toward the basket, and his teammates coming up with those loose balls. So like if you're just looking at the box score, he hasn't been amazing.
Do you see his box score?
What he had yesterday, like 3-4 rebounds.
He had 1 point, 1 assist, 3 rebounds.
Yeah, but I mean,
he actually had a pretty decent game. Like
exactly.
It's not like,
and that's why you can't.
Which is what's crazy is you would never think that somebody would have a decent game and they have 1, 1, and 3 rebounds and you a big man, right?
Exactly.
But
that's why
it was like,
if you don't want to watch the games, watch the Double Dribble podcast, and we'll let you
know. But yeah, so I think that's what's going to come to. We have to see a big bounce back performance from Luka, which I think he'll probably do. As far as we'll see if this stomach bug thing carries over.
Because who would? AD. I'm just saying.
Honestly, I think that y'all would be beating them with AD, like in these 3 games. But that's like a whole nother thing.
Yeah, but I think we play tomorrow. We should get it together. I ain't too worried about that. Before we move to the next series, what was your instant reaction to the Anthony Davis Luka Doncic trade? Because some days I still wake up and I'll be like, I cannot believe this.
So first, I think when I messaged it to you, because I think I called you right when it happened, like probably a couple minutes after it happened. Because at first I was like, this shit isn't real. This is fake. And then I saw Shams. I saw it was a different report. I saw a post about it. And I was like, no way. And then I saw Shams. I was like, this is the real Shams. And I was like, nah. And I was like, nah, this is the real one. So I called you, and I was like, yeah, man, it didn't make any sense. At first I was like, this can't be. There has to be more to it. And then secondly, I was like, oh, like something must be going on with the ownership. Like the ownership there must be something that, like, this couldn't have been the GM. This couldn't be basketball.
The Browns have selected Shedeur Sanders. Finally, he gets drafted. Okay, my bad. I ain't mean to cut you off.
Wait, the Rams drafted him?
The Browns.
The Browns. Oh my God.
Well, at least they don't got to deal with. I ain't gonna say that.
Well, they still do got to deal with him. They gave this man like the stupidest contract. So I guess I don't know if that's a good spot for him, but hey, what was the pick? Did they say? This man, he got passed up so many times.
Browns have traded up to pick 144.
Damn, that's crazy.
When was Brady drafted? Brady was some ridiculous pick.
He was in the 6th round. I can't remember what was the.
Oh, but yeah.
I can't remember what was the number, but he wasn't.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to Shedeur, man. Shout out to Shedeur. Okay, my bad. What was you saying though?
Yeah, my reaction was initially this can't be true, and then secondly it was that this has to be some kind of ownership thing, some kind of. I was honestly willing to buy into some kind of conspiracy for a second, because I'm like, there's no way no GM in their right mind is just going to be making this trade for purely this is going to make us better as a basketball team. This is the right basketball move. To me, it just didn't make any sense. And so there was people talking about, like they're trying to get gambling or a casino they want to move. They were trying to get that legalized in Texas, and that had part to do with it or something. Like they were trying to. I don't. It didn't make any sense, but like they were trying to maybe either move the team to Vegas. There was a bunch of different rumors as to what they were trying. As the reason why they made the trade is they were trying to basically, I guess, force the NBA's hand in some way. And I don't know. It's the thing that to this day, it still doesn't make sense to me why you would trade a dude who's 6 years younger than Anthony Davis, who has significantly less injury concerns and issues than Anthony Davis. Yes, AD is a better two-way player, but we know what y'all just did last year. Y'all made the finals. Y'all had your best season in a decade or over a decade. And you still have this dude in the middle of his prime with potentially a better seasons to come, potentially on paper, at least, you know. I don't know what you could have seen through his conditioning that would make you say, oh, I got to get rid of this dude. I got to trade him. That you didn't see last season when y'all literally made a great playoff run. So yeah, it still doesn't make any sense. So what was your initial reaction? I know you were happy as hell. Well, actually, no, I know you were a little bit conflicted, actually, because I know AD is your guy. So I know you didn't want to lose AD. But then you probably start to think about it. You're like, you know what?
Yeah, so I had just got home from my best friend's dad's birthday party. And like I'm just like winding down. The Lakers had just beat the Knicks. And there's a guy, his name is Jovan Buha. He does a Lakers post game show like after every game. He's a reporter for The Athletic, but he does a show after every Lakers game. And I'm just chilling. I got my iPad ready. I'm ready to watch his show. I'm looking on my iPad, I get a notification. It says breaking Lakers trade Anthony Davis or whatever. So I click it. Like, huh? So I text my group chat, and I forgot Trayvon texted me. I was like, I mean, it's fake. I was like, and then everybody was like, yeah, he got hacked. Like he was like, he got hacked. There's no way. And then so I'm just waiting because usually after somebody gets hacked, because that has happened before, I'm just waiting for the tweet to be deleted. And I'm just looking on Twitter, everybody like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? I'm refreshing. It's not getting deleted. And never mind. And he sent a follow-up tweet saying, yes, this is real. Sources tell ESPN. And I'm like, huh? And I'm like, no, that's what a hacker would say. Like, of course, a hacker would come in there and say, yes, this is real. And I'm like, there's no way. So each report that I'm seeing, like on Instagram or whatever, it just say from ESPN. Sources say tell ESPN. Because Shams worked for ESPN. So I'm like, it's still fake. But then I get the notification from Chris Haynes. And I'm like, whoa. I dropped my phone. I ain't dropped it on the floor. I dropped it on the bed. I was like, whoa. And then I was like, bro, I can't believe it. And I was hurt because it was Max Christie who just had a good game versus the Knicks. AD, I love AD. He's one of my favorite players. He was banged up at the time. I think he got hurt versus the 76ers. But, I mean, I was pleased with the direction we was headed in. And then all of a sudden, now we got Luka. And I was stuck for about a week or two. Like, it was just unreal. But I mean, all in all, I understand why Rob Pelinka did it. I have no idea why Rico Harrison did it still to this day. But you got your franchise centerpiece for the future. This season, it's I mean, you got talent, Austin Reeves, LeBron, Luka. So y'all could, try to win off that, and then trying to play feisty defense when you can. But I feel like the roster is still a little incomplete. They tried to make a move for Mark Williams, which would have been great, but ultimately he failed his physical. And it was all kind of crazy after that. I mean, Zach LaVine got traded to the Kings. De'Aaron Fox got traded to the Spurs. Jimmy went to the Warriors. Just insanity. Kyle Kuzma went to the Bucks. You muted, Drew. You muted. But yeah, man, it was I don't know. It was insanity after that. But all in all, I mean, as a Lakers fan, I'm happy. Happy we got Luka. And what better person to try to learn
Mentor.
Yeah, mentor than LeBron. Not only just like about the game, just about his overall health and things like that, because that's the only problem regarding Luka, his physical
conditioning,
conditioning right now, and that's why Nico Harrison chose to. I guess that's what they said. Nico Harrison wanted to trade him because of his conditioning, which was kind of ridiculous. But
yeah,
but
which
yeah,
I still don't buy. I'm honest. I'm still open to all the conspiracies potentially, because it just doesn't make sense. Or even if it doesn't make sense that it's just Nico Harrison who did this. Like, you're telling me the ownership just didn't have no control over whatsoever. Like they weren't like, no, you're not going to do this. You're not going to do this. Like they can just step in and stop him, because we've seen ownership step in and force GMs to make trades. So they have to have just been fully behind him on this, which I just don't understand. You have a diehard fan base in Dallas that loves Luka Doncic. Like, that's driving all your, media revenue, sales when it comes to like jersey sales and even just ratings for your team. Like, people want to watch Luka on the Dallas Mavericks. There's no way people are trying to watch the Mavericks as much without Luka Doncic and with Anthony Davis instead. There's no way they're trying to attend games and buy tickets as much with AD there and no Luka Doncic. And it doesn't even make business sense. It doesn't make basketball sense. It don't even make money sense. Like, what are you doing? It don't make any. And so, like, you literally, like, you lost revenue, you lost the ratings, and you lost the a greater championship window. And you did this because defense wins championships. Is that what you really gonna tell me in this press conference? Defense wins championships. And so, yeah.
To be fair, I think that Dallas team, when healthy with AD, Kyrie, I think they're a contender though.
Oh no. I agree. I do think they're a contender.
Yeah, I think they're a contender.
But
I think his thinking is like, and I'm not trying to be devil's advocate.
No. Go ahead. Be devil's advocate. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna be Nico Harrison for a second. Defense wins championships. Did you see the defensive performance that Luka displayed in the NBA Finals last year? Look at Anthony Davis,
terrible.
Arguably the best defensive player in the world, while already being an all-world offensive talent. Pair that with Kyrie, along with the growth potential of a Max Christie, along with Klay Thompson. What's his name? What's the wing? Najee Marshall. We got Spencer Dinwiddie, PJ Washington, Derek Lively, and Gafford to put AD, slot him right at the 4 where he wants to be. That's a championship waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it.
Nico Harrison, you're an idiot.
That's one way of looking at it. I mean, that's like the optimal best case scenario is nothing goes wrong and you got it. You got that window for what? Maybe 2-3 years, maybe
2-3 years, yeah. But now AD gets hurt. He re-aggravates his injury.
So we're gonna cut that window now back to 2 years.
And then Kyrie's
out
tears his ACL,
which is a career potential, even though we're much better in the sports medicine world now. Yeah. When it comes to ACL,
older. He's much older than he was.
He's past 30, and having a burst and explosiveness is a big part of his game. People, he's not a super above the rim player, but changing direction, being shifty, and like his ability to get to the rim and finish, like with that ability. Like, I mean, we don't know. Kyrie could be, Kyrie might not be the same player when he comes back, or it might take him some time to get back to what he was. And in that time, you're losing time because you have a window. AD's only gonna get older. He's 31 right now, and maybe almost 32.
Yeah.
And I think Kyrie is like 34, maybe 33. I think he's 33. And so yeah, these dudes are on the other side of 30. Their primes are over, but they're going to be coming to a close soon. And that's the biggest problem when you make a move like this, and AD has health issues, and honestly that Kyrie has health issues, and you're relying on these guys to be your top two. And you're doing this to give up a guy that's in the prime of his career that has so many years left to give. And that's the problem. That's why it's always going to be a dumb move to make. Is you have to capitalize immediately once you make that move with AD. And there's too many risk factors, especially in the NBA, where we know how frequently guys get hurt. We see every year injuries determine playoff series. Every year we see injuries have an impact on who ends up winning the championship by the end of the season. And that's what you end up. And we've seen it have an impact with AD. We've seen AD get hurt, and it have impact on his team's winning championship or his team's advancing. You know that full well with the Lakers. I still believe y'all don't lose to the Suns that 1 year if AD doesn't go down and have that injury. And then the Suns end up what? And Suns end up going to the NBA Finals that year.
The finals. Yep.
Yeah. So that's the type of stuff. It's like it just doesn't make sense if you factor in history of the players that you're trading for. It's a stupid thing to do. And so we'll never really know. Maybe it really just was he's that bad of a GM and he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. And Rob Pelinka took him to the cleaners. and that's really what it is. That could be the case. It just seems so ridiculous for that to be the case. Like, there's no way you got into this position. Like, the moves you made last year for the Mavericks made sense. He was making good basketball moves. And so, yeah, we'll see, though. We'll see. I'm sure, like, he's the biggest Timberwolves fan. You know that. Nico Harrison watching every Laker he watching every Laker Minnesota game, and he sitting here like every time Luka missed a shot, he praying on his downfall.
He get blown by.
But yeah, so see, that's what I'm talking about. See,
that's hilarious.
And so we'll see what happens in Game 4. But I do still think Lakers in 6. If the Timberwolves do win Game 4, then I'll probably change my mind, especially if they win it in a convincing fashion. I mean, honestly, if they just win it, I'll probably change my mind on that. But I still feel like I got to see these role players step up again. Jaden had a great game, second biggest game he's had this playoffs. You could argue he's been their most consistent player on the low, although Ant Edwards was super clutch in the fourth. Like, he was getting to the rim, downhill, making great decisions, had some huge threes to kind of dagger the
shooting them, pulling up on us.
Yeah. But honestly, I'm not gonna lie. When I was watching that game live, and after LeBron hit that third 3 in a row, I was like, "Oh, the Lakers are about to pull this. They about to. Oh,
it was too. And then Luka had tied the game. Luka had made this shot over Gobert, but then Edwards came in. He did his thing. Especially, he made some plays offensively, hit some threes. He had this huge stop on Rui Hachimura when he had grabbed the ball, and it went out of bounds. So yeah. Shout out to Ant-Man, man. Shout out to Ant-Man. All right, so let's move to the other series. Andrews, no, not that one. Andrews, Memphis Grizzlies.
Hell no, my Memphis Grizzlies. We got to talk about this one right here.
Well, let's say that one for our last West one, but we're gonna talk briefly about the Thunder and Grizzlies. It's ridiculous. They got their coach with a week or two left in the season. That was one of the most craziest things I ever seen until the Nuggets.
The Nuggets
fired their coach
with 3 games left. It was 3 games left.
3 games left before. I'm like, bro, what is going on? I've never seen a coach maybe I've seen a coach get fired that late in the season, but
I don't
a
even
team-
remember.
the
Wait,
coach that's like
okay, you're right. On
in
a team
the
that can make the
playoffs?
playoffs. Yes.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. And they still
Yeah.
ended up making the playoffs. And now Grizzlies down 3-0 to the Thunder. Not really much to talk about that series, but I mean I know we haven't recorded in a while. Shout out to OKC. They finished with the best record. Freaking fly. Finished with the best record in the league. SGA, my pick for MVP, had an amazing season. I forgot how many games he had consecutively that were 20 plus points. It was one of the highest in NBA history. This flop pissed me off. But yeah, shout out to SGA. He can be the MVP. OKC had the best defense in the league this year. I don't know who watched that game 3, OKC versus Memphis. But let me tell y'all something real quick. Alex Caruso is one of the best defenders in the league. And if you don't know, if you didn't know then, you know now. I told you. Alex Caruso is a dog. Y'all should have seen the plays he was making in that game versus the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies was up like almost 20, 30, almost 30 points in that game. Now, Ja did get hurt. But, man, I'm talking about his versatility, his effort, his hands, diving, hustle. I mean,
Yeah, this would be the
it's like watching
game.
Kyrie dribble, but
All right, chill.
for people that love defense. It's just so
No,
beautiful to watch. I almost cried, literally.
Yeah. No, he was fantastic, but and I said this would be the Alex Caruso game if Ja didn't get hurt. Ja getting hurt to me makes this the Ja injury game, unfortunately. But Alex Caruso
I think it would have been 2-1 if Ja never got hurt.
It would have been 2-1. Like the entire momentum, you could see like you look at like the not even just the crowd's faces, but like look at the bench. The team just looked shell shocked. Like they were not like, and I'll give them credit. Even after the Thunder came back and completed the comeback, they took the lead. I think the Grizzlies came and I think they had like scored like 6 or 7 points in a row, and they reclaimed the lead, and like, okay, they might be able to pull this off or hold on to this. But you could see like it completely just took the whole air out of the building, and it made for them generating anything in the half court so much more difficult. They were relying on like Scottie Pippen Jr. was having probably the game of his life, like having one of his best shooting performances, which was huge in the first half for them getting out to that lead, but it wasn't going to be sustainable. You don't expect him to be able to keep that up, and Ja, him going out, you know, they lose their primary creator, initiator, somebody that could actually put pressure on the defense and draw attention. And that's when it becomes more difficult to hold on to a lead like that, especially for a team that doesn't have a lot of room for error. We've seen what they're going up against, and we saw how badly they performed in those first 2 games. I think that they're gonna just get smoked probably game 4. If they won game 4, I would be shocked.
And he not playing. Wait, did it start already? One of these games started already.
Yeah, it was Cleveland and Miami, but last I saw, Miami was putting the belt on them.
Really?
No,
playing with that down.
Okay,
down
Cleveland's blowing them out now. Miami was up early, but Cleveland's up 20 now with
Cleveland up 20.
Cleveland up 20, 69-49, middle of the third quarter.
That series over with. Oh, I picked that one in 4. Dev, salute, man. Salute. Look, he said go Rockets. Salute for putting
Let's
up,
go. But yeah.
Dev a Hawks fan.
But he must also be a fellow Warriors hater. I appreciate
it. Probably so. Okay. Real quick before we move to the next one, is SGA a playoff dropper? I don't know. We'll talk about it on the next episode.
So here's the thing, but like he has been looking kind of funny in these games. Like he has been getting his points, but he's been super inefficient. He's been like missing a ton of shots. Like
he missed a dunk. As Caruso got a steal, gave it to him for a dunk. He missed it. Lucky as Caruso was there to clean it up for him. Pause.
my biggest question with a team like that, because we've seen it so many times in the past, where these young teams get it together and they are like a force. Like they become like one of the top teams in the league. They have a great regular season, and on paper, like they have the offense, the defensive statistics to be a champion. And then we see them get in the playoffs, and then they encounter real adversity in the playoffs. And they encounter real adversity as a favorite against a team that has more experience, against a team that's been there and been through many playoff battles, and teams that have won series or teams that have had guys that have won championships, whatever. We see those teams get into situations where they are now in a tightly contested series. They're up a game or they're tied in the series or they're down a game. And then these teams start to press and they don't perform the same way they have been doing all regular season. I think still that's going to be the fate of the Thunder. I don't think they're going to win the championship. If they do, then congrats to them. But I think that they're going to lose. Either if it's not going to be in the finals, then I think it's going to be in these Western Conference playoffs. I would probably lean if a Lakers series does happen to the Lakers. I would probably lean if a Clippers series does happen, which I think is going to happen. And we'll see. But
yeah, that would be the next round.
That would be the next round. It would be 4-5. So yeah, it'd be Thunder Clippers next round. As long as they take care of the Nuggets, which we're gonna get into in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that they that's gonna be and they gotta prove it to me, because I've seen too many teams like this do that. We look at the OKC Thunder of old. We look at the Boston Celtics, who are now champions, but we saw them in the past, have those moments where it's like, oh, like they're supposed to be there. They're supposed to win it. They're supposed to go all the way. And hold up, what's going on? We know what's going on. It's that like it's they're struggling with, like, they get a little bit tight and dealing with that.
What was it was 4 or 3 things that you I guess you qualified, like who would you pick to win the championship or your contenders? Yeah, I know one was experience, coaching.
I actually didn't even put coaching, but you know what? Coaching is a factor, but it's not, I guess, one of the biggest ones. I probably, we'll throw coach on there as the 4th thing. But I think the other 3 things matter more than even coaching when it comes to basketball. But I do think coaching, if everything else is pretty equal, or there's not, it's not a notable advantage in one of those first 3, then I think that coaching could be like the X factor. So let's we'll put coaching on there as the 4th thing. But I think coaching's more of like a
what's the 3 keys, Drew?
Okay, the 3 Drew's 3 keys.
Yeah,
Drew's 3 keys to for any playoff series, who's gonna win.
Wait. Say that one more time.
All right. So Drew's 3 keys for any playoff series as to how you're gonna pick who's gonna win. All right. So talent is 1, experience, and injury, health. So like injuries and health. So like, the team that's the most healthy, the team that has the most talent, and the team that has the most experience. Now, of course, some teams might have more in one of those 3 aspects than the other, but whoever has the most overall out of those 3 is going to win the series. And if they're pretty equal or pretty comparative on those 3, then we'll look to coaching. Right? But the coaching could be like the X factor, like I said. But I think that if there's a team that has a lot of injury issues and a lot of injury concerns, and going into the series especially, or of course middle of the series, we know how that goes. But going into the series, if that's a concern, should be something that you factor. If a team has clearly the more talent, that's always going to be the first thing you look at. Who's the more talented team? And then experience, though, can sometimes trump that if the talent is pretty close. And so, yeah, I do think that that those are, like, if you look at damn near every series throughout history, it's pretty much how it comes down to it. Is those 3 factors? What you think? What you think about those 3 factors?
Man, I think it's Drew's 3 keys. I think that's that's on point. I think coaching is a big one. I think you should upgrade it to 4.
Okay.
But I think coaching is huge.
Yeah. Well, okay. You know what? So
Yeah,
I will add coach. We're gonna add coach. It's gonna be the 4 factors.
yeah. Drew's 4 factors. But yeah, nah. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I think experience is a big thing. I don't like how some people were saying, oh, they were writing OKC off. I'm saying they couldn't do it because of experience. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah. I don't think that's fair either. Because I think that they can do it. I just thought that like going in, I figured that there's also a fair possibility that that's not going. Those factors aren't going to matter because they're not going to encounter a situation where it's going to matter potentially, depending on who they got and their pathway to the finals. How things are shaping up, I think that now it's a strong possibility that could happen before they even get to the finals and have to face Boston, which I think is probably going to be. Although they're getting a little bit banged up now, so we gonna see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think now, like, and as we're gonna start talking about the Nuggets and Clippers series, I think that the Clippers are arguably playing, if not the second best team in the entire playoffs.
They're playing the second best team in the playoffs.
No. I think that the Clippers are playing like the second best team in the playoffs, and they might be the second best team in all of the playoffs. We're gonna see. But I think that they might be, especially if you factor in how they were playing going in. They were the hottest team going into the playoffs. No team was playing better. Like they won like 18 out of their last 21, something crazy like that. Their record post All-Star with Kawhi was insane. I think the Warriors were the only team that was like on par, and they beat them. You know, and they, I think going into the playoffs, they won like 7 or 8 in a row, something crazy. So they've been playing ridiculously on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. You have Kawhi looking like I don't want to say peak level Kawhi, but he's looking pretty close to prime level Kawhi. He's looking at least how he looked a couple years ago.
You say you got a point, Drew. Is that you talking about the Clippers?
Yeah. And so we see Harden's in a role now where like he can go off and have games where he gives you 30.
Facts.
But he doesn't have to give you 30. Because they got so much depth. They got role players. They got Nicholas Batum still giving you really good minutes. Like every time this dude shoots a 3-pointer, I think he's gonna make it. And he shoots like he's one of the I think he's like top 10 in the league in 3-point percent or something crazy like that. And he's like 38 or something. So he's been doing it for a minute, but he still is a contributor for them.
That's crazy. I was just looking back at something. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, you good.
How long Nick Batum been in the league? I was watching
bruh.
I was watching when Dame hit that game winner to send the Rockets home. Nick Batum hit a big shot before that.
Before that, yes.
Yeah. Well, did that put them up or did that tie the game?
No, because it had to have because I know when we hit because we scored to go up. We were up when Dame hit his shot.
Yeah, Chandler Parsons had got that loose ball and laid it up. But before that, Nick Batum had hit like a little baseline shot over Dwight.
Yeah, I think it gave them the lead because I want to say we were up by 1 after Parsons scored. Yeah,
something like that. But yeah, that's crazy seeing how long Nick Batum been in the league. Now
I still remember the Rockets drafted him. The Rockets drafted Nick Batum. We drafted him and then we traded the pick. We traded the pick for. Do you know who? Do you know who?
Oh, let me see if I can give me a hint. Like what year?
I'll give you a hint. He played with LeBron James in Miami, and he was a key role player, kind of. I would say he's a pretty important role player on those Miami Heat teams.
For the Heat teams?
Yep. He played with LeBron in Miami in the Heat teams. They won championships together. And the Rockets drafted Nick Batum and traded him for this player. Now, this gonna
so he played with the Rockets and then he played with the Heat.
Yeah, because remember the Batum got drafted by the Rockets, then the Rockets traded
that. Oh, I know you're talking about Battier.
Shane Battier, yeah. Battier, and so that's how we got Battier, and he was on those Team 19s with Yao, and then
I remember my brother had a Shane Battier shirt. Like, who was Battier? I'm like Battier. Who's that?
Yeah, man, elite defender, one of the best. I think he would
every time we play we had like this league on 2K. We ain't played in a while, but we had this league on 2K. You draft players. Battier always on my team.
Yeah, I would do the same
he
thing.
always
I'd
on
draft
my team.
Battier. That's crazy. I literally would do the same thing. Because he knocked down 3-point shooter, can guard, like switchable defender, can guard
Yeah.
1 through 4.
Yeah.
So that was that's how long that was. I think that was like 2007. I want to say. So yeah, it's been a minute. And
I
so
remember
yeah,
2007. That's when LeBron went to the finals. First year. Look, I want to see.
So he's still being a big contributor for them, but he's not even like their third best guy off the bench, really. Like they've been getting so many key guys contributing for them. Like they still have Derek Barnes. They got Derek Jones.
Look, he say this. He say this because I remember things that happened and like the years they happened based off what LeBron did. So that's why he said this dude here. And because I remember like when I moved to the side of town, I'm trying to remember. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the year LeBron won his first MVP. That was 2008, 2009. So I don't know, bro. I can't explain it, bro. I can't explain it. Just how my memory works.
Crazy.
But
yeah. So they got the depth. They got a lot of talent.
No, man, go ahead.
No, so like they got a lot of talent. They got the depth. They've been playing really good basketball at this point. They have an elite defense, and with Kawhi together with Harden, they have an elite offense. They have a top 10 offense. For the season, I think they were like middle of the pack offensively, but their actual like numbers as a currently constructed team, they're top 10 offense defense. And
especially
so
with Kawhi being back healthy,
yeah. And Zubac has been to me like most improved player. Like,
I don't think he's in a. I don't think he's gonna win it, but I would definitely put him in that.
Because people just look like and give credit like people. I mean, yes, Harden has been a big impact on him when it comes to like making it easier for like he does for most bigs when it comes to score. Because I know that like they have the most assists between two players in the NBA. Like Harden to Zubac is the most assists between any player and another player this season. But his touch around the rim is so good. Like he's gotten so good. Like his little hook shots. I think they said like it's like him and Jokic are like top 2 in hook shots made in the league this season. And defensively, nobody in the league gives Jokic a bigger problem than Zubac. Like he has the weight and the body to actually match up with him. Yes, Jokic is still going to be able to shoot his threes and make his mid-range shots and have impact and score that way. But like you're not seeing. Look through these 3 games. Yes, Jokic has been very efficient for the most part. But has he been monster Jokic? Has he been like dominating? No. Jokic hasn't looked like the best player in this series. Like it's been really, really
maybe Harden.
Really low key. It's been Harden 2 games and Kawhi 1 game. Kawhi was the best player by far in game 2. And then
I agree.
Harden
I think I would say Jokic had,
but he hasn't been getting the numbers.
Jokic had 2 good games. Game 1 and game 2. They got destroyed in game 3. So I don't know. But I feel like Jokic was good in game 1 and game 2.
Yeah.
But
he hasn't like had his.
Harden was really good in games 1 and 3. Like I thought he was really good in those games. Kawhi was like almost like a no-show in game 1. Like he had a lot of turnovers. He started off well in the first half, but second half he wasn't really doing much, and he had a lot of turnovers. But I feel you though.
So I don't think. Continue.
I just want to give some credit to Harden. Hold on, real quick. Chris D. He said Clippers in 6, Rockets. Clippers in 5, Rockets in 6, Lakers in 6, Pistons in 7, Bucks in 7, Cavs in 5, Celtics in 6. Man, I hope so. I got the Knicks. I had the Knicks in 6. I had the Pacers in 7. I had Cavs in 4. I had Celtics in 5. I had Clippers in 6, and I had Lakers in 5. but Lakers can't win the 5 no more.
Yeah.
Um,
I had
and I had Golden State in 7.
yeah, I had Clippers in wait, Lakers in 6, Celtics in 6.
Amazing that one.
Oh.
Game. We're gonna get to that series. We're gonna get to that series.
I don't know. Like I want to say the same thing too because I had Celtics in 5, and I'm probably still gonna stay with Celtics in 5. But the Celtics have been looking really banged up now.
I might go.
Like
don't
I think
know,
like Drew Holiday had a
tough.
random hamstring strain. Like, so is Drew Holiday even gonna be straight? And then we saw it looked like Jaylen Brown's knee is jacked up like really bad. Like
he hurt his hand yesterday too.
He hurt his hand. Like he been looking
what's
really
his name?
banged up lately.
Cole Anthony playing
Yeah,
dirty.
I mean we already know Jason Tatum playing with an injury. Now he looked great last night, but still, that's a lot of dudes that are key guys.
Say it again, Drew. He looked great last night.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he looked great last night with the injury, but I still wouldn't be surprised if the Magic go up there and win Game 4. I wouldn't be surprised because of those injuries.
And some Paolo and Franz, they've been having to put some special performances out there, especially like Franz yesterday. How he closed that game, he was like attacking the rim.
No, he was great down the stretch.
It's surprising. Well, let's finish with the Clippers. Finish with the Clippers.
Yeah, but yes. Oh yeah. So yeah, Game 1.
I want to give my flowers to Harden, because like not just this series, but kind of keeping the ship afloat this year. I think everybody kind of wrote the Clippers off once they lost Paul George and Kawhi wasn't able to start this season. And even though Harden wasn't really efficient for the most part, he still was their best player. Norman Powell was scoring the ball at a high efficient clip before Kawhi got back, and I think he had an injury. He sustained an injury, but he had like the best year of his career. This year, Zubac had the best year of his career. Their defense was consistent throughout the season, and Harden led that, and he I don't say led the defense, but he led the team. And he helped keep the ship afloat, and he had some insane performances this year. He had a 50-point game. And like his burst, like he don't have to.
His burst looks like it's come back a little bit. It's
like especially in that first game, some of the shots he was getting downhill, the floater, like that stuff is back. And it's not like he got to make something shake every play like he was in his prime. He's the best player on the team, but when he needs to, he getting to it. And I remember some of those Brooklyn years in the Sixer year. It was like, man, it felt like he had no gas. Now
really.
Now he got all the gas. Paul.
Yeah.
But
I do think that like a big
shout out
thing.
to Harden. He been hooping, especially like second half of this year, and so far this series. So I look forward to see what that man can do.
Yeah, and you look at his numbers really just since the Kawhi return, and especially post All-Star break, his numbers have been elite. Like they've been great. Like even his efficiency has been elite. Like post All-Star break and everything like that. Those first 4 months of the season when he was having to carry that load and having to try and do the OG Harden get on my back, I'm gonna try and like average 30 type stuff. It was looking hit or miss. Like he was having he'd have a game where it'd be like 10 for 25.
Yeah.
He have another game.
It was some game they played, and I was like, is Harden gonna make a shot? Like it did him for him to make a shot.
But his
maybe it was against Memphis. I can't remember one of those games, but yeah.
So no, he had games like that, but now I feel like he's back where they need him to be, where he's able to pick and choose when he wants to like be aggressive and score, and not have to do it every single night. He has like Kawhi there that can also help carry the load, and we were seeing like in this series just already like there's a Harden had a game where he was taking over and dominant scoring, and then Kawhi had a game 2 where he was doing that. And then
Kawhi,
Kawhi was he was like like a Hall of Fame midi magician that whole game 2. This man was making every single turnaround, every single fadeaway midi in the clutch down the stretch. And I really think that this is probably game 4. They're gonna just try and one-on-one play them one-on-one straight up and we'll see how it works because their defense isn't good. They haven't been able to really keep anybody in front of them, but it was way worse game 3 because they started trying to trap and they were just getting picked apart. Like it was wide open 3 after wide open 3, and those dudes were burning them. Norm Powell finally showed up to the series because he wasn't really playing well the first 2 games, and that's how it is. Usually, role players play better at home, and so I feel like they're gonna want to try and make those guys have to make shots. But I don't know how much. We'll see how much of an impact that's going to be. I don't really see the Nuggets winning this series. I don't see how they could actually pull it off without Jokic having a monster performance. He can't just be like that game 3. He had 6 shots at halftime.
What about
Jokic can't be having. They were down like 20.
What about your favorite player, Russell Westbrook? What if he?
Did you see that they say he left the game with knee inflammation? In the second half, it was like they were like, "Oh, Russ isn't coming back." I'm like, "Did he really have knee inflammation?" Or the coach just say like, man, like
head inflammation.
Because he played 9 minutes, and I think he was like a negative 25 or something like that. It was something crazy. They showed it. I saw it.
Hey, I want to speak about that game 1, which was crazy.
The fakest. That's your. That was.
I want to get Cecil on here because he was mad when I said that was fake.
It was so fake, man.
But it was fake, bro. Like, okay, but I ain't gonna lie.
Well,
he was making plays. Like he was.
It was the full Westbrook experience. That's what it was. So it wasn't fake. It was good Russ and bad Russ in the peak form because he was doing everything he could to get the game, to win the game, and then to give the game away. Yeah. Like literally everything he could.
I remember he hit that 3, which was good, and then Harden tied the game with that floater, and then so of course coming back down, Clippers they trap Jokic, whatever. Westbrook has an open shot. He don't take it. He dribbled. He jumped. I think he about to shoot it. Then he just throw it off Chris Dunn's body or someone's body.
And that was right after he had hit the 3 to give them the lead. Yeah,
give him the lead, and then go to overtime.
And he has that dumbass. Remember the play like he had late in the season.
He didn't even have to shoot it.
Yeah,
it reminded me of that game when who they played.
Minnesota.
He didn't
drove it hard and he smoked the layup.
Yeah. And then he forced a turnover. It was just.
So that's what I say. It was like 55% good Russ and like 45% bad Russ. And I want to say like the last 10% that put him into the good was when he hit the ball on the inbound. He hit the ball and it went off Harden.
Forced that turnover. Yeah.
Yeah. If he didn't do that, it would have been like, bro, this is like.
I'm like, bro, this dude is it. I'm like, bro, I'm sorry, bro. This dude here. This dude.
You don't know what you're gonna get with Russ.
Man, it's like the what they say is like a Mario something box.
Mario Kart, one of those like item boxes when you it's a mystery box. You don't know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get like a banana peel, or you're gonna get one of those like those turtle shells.
Man, man, I ain't gonna lie, I appreciate the Westbrook experience, man. That's there. Look, you ever seen this this meme Westbrook they got now? Hold on.
I wonder if there's one I remember that I used to see. It's like the months of the year thing. No, bro, that face kills me. That is the funniest face.
This one, I think he stole the ball. He played against us that game. He stole the ball.
Yeah, that was the game that y'all were arresting a bunch of people though, right?
Yeah, and we almost won.
Yeah,
I remember that. Shout out to Westbrook, man.
Man, Russ is hilarious. I'm glad he ain't on my team no more.
Man, who you telling?
Bro.
So we touched on all the Western Conference. We can move over to the East. So right now we spoke about a little earlier. The Cavs up. Oh man, they up 25 on the Heat right now. My prediction before this series, I had Cavs in I had Cavs in 4. And they just super outmatched. Shout out to the Cavs, by the way. 64-18 this year. Amazing season. Evan Mobley,
Defensive Player
of the Year. Drew, I know
you know they don't got a top 5 defense, but it's whatever, you know.
Evan Mobley, you know the NBA really messed that up though, because you think about it, going into the season, everybody they were just gonna give it to Wemby, regardless if the Spurs had a top 10, 5, 15 defense, whatever.
Right. Wait, where you at? Hey, Desto. All right, we have some technical difficulties. Where does this man go? I'm dead. Xfinity Dish Network. Why DeAndre trying to cook you? I'm dead. Oh man.
I should be back good, huh?
I don't see you yet, but
Am I here?
Yeah, you. This man said Dish Network.
I thought you ain't talking. You got the Just Energy internet.
It's Just Energy.
All right, let me see.
Oh man.
So my internet, bro.
But yeah, so bruh, where are you at? Oh man. All right. We're trying to get Desto back here. There he is. He back.
I have returned.
He's back, folks.
All right.
I was about to go and
internet.
Yeah.
Once again, he's been incredible.
We're gonna see what the Laker killer had to say yesterday.
And just what did it take from you and the team to close the way that you did tonight for a team that you guys have not always been super sharp in clutch time situations?
I got two words for you. Jaden McDaniels. once again. He's been incredible for us all year.
How did you kind of manage the emotion of the environment? I mean, it was a super intense game. Fans going.
I'm not gonna lie, man. This was the best that the fan. It was so loud in there today. Like when Drew got his first basket, it was so loud in there. Like I couldn't hear the play. I couldn't hear what play we was in. I couldn't hear Rudy saying screen left sack. I couldn't hear nothing. Like it was so loud in there. That was probably the most fun I've had in Target Center for sure.
And it seemed like tonight you really spent those last nights really found the balance.
Triggering. I don't want to hit nothing about no Target right
and
now.
then just finding the lanes. And being patient
Target
with it.
Center.
What were you seeing, especially down the stretch with their defense, and how were you able to kind of generate good looks every time down?
Just trying to play a little faster. I think in the first half I was getting to where I wanted to go, but I wasn't playing fast enough. So like when they switch and then like say like Julius set a screen and they switch and he roll his man down, I was waiting till his man turned around instead of driving right behind him. And I think in the fourth quarter I started to do that more and it was effective.
Julius, you've always talked about liking to push the pace.
Man,
that's been so critical in this series. Have you tried to take that up to a different level, even of every time there's an opportunity, getting out and trying to get a good look that way?
Yeah, we know when
They were saying he was talking trash. I didn't even see this. He was talking trash to LeBron for so long.
To be able to push the pace,
And
get
LeBron
downhill,
says, "Watch this."
create a play for yourself or your teammates. So any chance that I can do that, if I can get the rebound or early transition, get a hit ahead, I try to break the paint and from there see what happens.
Hey, Ant, did you have a sense, or did you know that right here, Ant, did you have a sense that Luka might
impacts our team? We understand what he brings to our team and what he's done since the acquisition. So, it definitely took a big blow for our team.
You've been down 2-1 before in a series on the road. What are the most important things you guys have to do to bounce back for that game for?
We got to control the controllables, and I don't think we did that tonight. Obviously, 19 turnovers on the road is not going to be a good ingredient for winning. Giving up 30 points, off those turnovers. They had 20 plus points, and transition as well. So, we got to control the controllables, and if we do that, we give ourselves a good chance to win.
You've shown an appreciation for Ant Edwards' game when you've been asked about him over the years. Tonight, you guys were able to, I guess, enjoy like a joyful, competitive nature between the two of you, and then he just was able to kind of just control the action at the end. How tough is he at this stage of his career to contend with in a playoff situation?
Well, I mean, obviously, you're only as great as your teammates, allow you to be as well. And obviously, you guys know how much praise I have for Ant and his development over the years. And we had a hell of a summer, and I love everything about Ant. But in the course of a playoff series and things of that nature, when you have your guy step up for you, it allows you to be able to crack the seams of defenses throughout the course of the game. And I thought, the game ball went to Jalen McDaniels. He had 30 and he was aggressive from the start to the finish. I mean, can't remember the last time he took over 20 shots. So that just lets you know what his mindset was. And Ant was just Ant, so.
LeBron, you guys tied the game at 103 with 4:37 left. They closed the game on a 13-1 run. I know you referenced some of the miscues, but was there anything that stood out over the final 4.5 minutes that they were able to do to create that separation?
I can remember some plays, but not all of them. But I'll have to take a look at the film. Obviously, I think it was a tie game. He said 103. Then Ant hit the three, right? Top of the key. We came back down. I believe missed a shot. And then Ant drove baseline and found Nas for another three. I guess I can't remember, huh? No, they just made plays, man. We had opportunities. I think Rui had some good looks. AR had a good look as well. We just couldn't make them go.
LeBron, I think it was in mid-January after a loss to the Clippers. You and JJ talked about how the margins at that point in time were really tight. You guys have been able to create margins since the Luka trade. Did tonight feel like a night with Luka not at full strength with the turnovers sort of mounting, do you feel like the margins you guys just eventually ran out of room?
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, I mean, in the postseason, there is no room for error. You know, in the regular season, you're able to make up for certain things throughout the course of a regular season where you can have a little bit of room for error, you know. But when our team was constructed at one point, then in the regular season, we didn't have much room for that as well. But in the postseason, obviously, you're not going to play a perfect game. But the more that you, make mistakes on top of mistakes on top of mistakes, you know, things that can be controlled, then it's not going to give you an opportunity to be in the best possible chance to win. They had 13 more, goals at the rim than we did, you know, and pretty much that could be the game right there. You know, you have 13 more. We have 78 attempts. They had 91. And it's just with turnovers, live ball turnovers.
What do you guys need to do to get the?
Hey, Drew, you can hear me?
When Jax is on the court,
sir.
what needs to happen when
All
you
right.
guys are?
Yeah, I don't know what was up with
to
my
be more
internet.
effective in those stretches.
Look at that goat right there.
I mean, we all just got to be better. I mean, obviously, Jackson's not getting. I mean, tonight he played 8 minutes. It's not.
Jackson Hayes only played 8 minutes.
It's even enough to kind of dissect and see what we can get out of it, obviously. But we just all need to be better. We got to rebound better. We got to screen better. We got to play with more force. When we've been really, really good, Jax has played extremely well for us. And we still believe in him and hope we can continue that going into the rest of the series.
Vando and Jordan both played more minutes tonight than they did in game 2. For Jordan, played more tonight than he did in the previous 2 games. How valuable? I mean, I know Vando sort of struggled with fouls, but how valuable were their minutes, and what can they do? What can carry over to game 4?
They just bring toughness, man. They bring toughness. They can guard multiple positions. Vando rebounds with the best of them. Goody can guard multiple positions. It brings us toughness. And obviously, versus Minnesota, they got a bunch of bigger wings. They're very got a lot of length out there, a lot of stronger guys. So it helps to just have that activity, and that demeanor when those guys in the game.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So mic check 1 2 1 2.
He's back with us. All right. So we were on the Eastern Conference.
Damn. Yeah, we was on the Eastern Conference. I was giving my flowers to Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year. This year the Cavs won 64 games. Didn't they start off the season like winning like 15, 16 in a row, something crazy like that? They had a couple 15-game win streaks this season.
Oh no. Wait, you here? Hey, Desta.
See you as a reason? Was Minnesota doing something that was forcing them, and how do you feel like that impacted the game?
Yeah, I mean, we're minus 16 in scoring opportunities. Really hard to win a basketball game in that scenario, particularly against a team that can also get hot from 3, which they did in the second half. And some of that were mistakes. Some of it was shot making, down the stretch. They made threes. We didn't make threes. I thought we had some good looks. As far as the turnovers, look, they're big, they're long, they're athletic. They pressure the basketball. They make everything tough. We're going to have some turnovers. Sometimes they force you into turnovers, which they did. I think it was 3 shot clock violations. but we also had some unforced turnovers, over dribbling, trying to draw fouls, dribbling into traffic, trying to do a little bit too much with the basketball. I mean, for us, we generated a lot of really good shots tonight when we didn't turn the ball over.
When did you get wind that Luka wasn't feeling himself, and how did you feel like that impacted him?
He hasn't been feeling well for the last 24 hours. So I don't know how much he slept last night. He didn't feel well last night. His stomach was bothering him. He was vomiting all afternoon. I'm not sure what happened at halftime. I'll find out, but he's really under the weather.
It was tied at 103, I think, about 4 minutes to go, and they were able to close with that run. Was there something in that timing of the game? Obviously, there's some turnovers, but that you felt like it made the difference in them being able to pull away?
Well, I think Anthony Edwards made a number of really good plays. I think the one that really stands out was, the empty side when he raced the secondary defender. We ended up having to bring a low man, so we had basically 3 guys on him. I believe it was Naz Reid made the 3 from the left wing. Yeah. Then he makes a tough shot, but we're trying our best not to give up off the dribble threes to him in isolation. I mean, that's what he does. He shoots 10 a game, and he's elite off the dribble. So he just makes it hard. He's obviously very aggressive, and I don't.
Mike check.
All right, you good. All right, you back in
Hey,
here.
man, look, if it glitch out this time, then we're gonna have to run this back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was watching on my phone. I was watching what JJ Redick said. Even though I already watched that post game stuff last night, but yeah, man, Anthony Edwards, he get better and better as the year goes by. LeBron spoke on it too, and we typically see that from like some players when they come back from playing in Olympics, when you get to play with players. You play against LeBron. I mean, you play with LeBron. You play with Curry. You play with KD. You soak up that knowledge and you learn from the best. Learn how they prepare. And then you come out, all of a sudden, Ant has his highest scoring season of his career. He's a better playmaker. He's having his best 3-point shooting season. He leads the league in threes. Like, that's just more evidence to show how like these players get better when they come from playing Olympic ball. You can see it like after like all these different players when they play Olympic ball. But yeah, shout out to Ant, man. He's still going down to 6 though. Did you have anything to speak on about the Cleveland Heat series, or should we leave that alone? Because every time we speak on that, I glitch out.
No, we could leave it alone. I mean, there's not much to say. The only thing that was really that game 2 was pretty entertaining. It was close down the stretch. Donovan Mitchell had some huge shots late. But really, apart from that, the series hasn't been close. There wasn't a little back and forth.
Darius Garland said.
I just want to say that
he's not even playing tonight.
Wait, what did he go out with? I didn't even see. He went out with an injury.
He didn't play at all tonight. This game. I think he said he had a toe injury or something.
Yeah, and he was talking a lot to Tyler Hero. You saw Tyler Hero clap back at him as well, because he was saying that basically the game plan, how do y'all plan on beating the Heat, and the game plan is pick on Tyler Hero, whatever he's doing, we gonna attack him. And Tyler Hero was like, "That's funny coming from somebody that don't play any defense at all." Is what he was basically saying to Darius Garland. But I mean, that series is pretty much whatever. We knew that the Cavs were going to win. Which is a matter of if they were going to win in 4 or 5. I thought it was going to be 5, but it's looking like it's going to be a sweep most likely.
Yeah.
The East is the JV. Yeah, the East, of course, is the JV conference, as we know. So
we got a couple. We got some good series in there. I think this the Pistons and Knicks series.
That's the one. That's a good series.
Yeah,
I'm not really
that's
believing
the
yet.
one where all games has been competitive, like down to the wire, down to the end. You know how I am on Cade. I love Cade. He had a huge game too, and he was really good in game 3 as well. But I want to give some flowers, some credit to Karl Anthony Towns, because not only he made some big shots in game 3, he had a good game. He made some good defensive plays in game 3, and I wonder if I can find this play. From Cat, but like Cade, he had put OG on the ground, like he did some type of spin move. OG touched the floor, and I thought Cade about to lay it up, and then Cat came in and blocked it, and I was like, okay, all right, Cat, that was tough. Let me see if I can find it. But what do you think about this series so far?
No, it's been an entertaining series, and really, I mean, the Knicks are very fortunate, really. Like Tobias Harris starting to show, his Tobias Harrisness of late. He started really big though. I'll give him that. Like the first game, he was huge. But they were very fortunate to pull out that game. I think it was like a 20-0 run or 24-0 run to have that comeback in the first game when they were down like. They were down like what? How much going into the fourth quarter? And that was a huge comeback. But
yeah, because I thought the Pistons had that game won. Like Cade wasn't having the best game, but Tim Hardaway and Tobias was carrying them. And then Tobias, of course, he come back down to earth. Game he didn't make a shot until the fourth quarter. It's crazy. Let me see if I can find this block. Oh, here it is, right here. Here it is. Let me see, how you share your screen on here again?
Present.
Oh, here it is. So this was the that's Dylan Duren put back. Let me see if I can find out. This is a tough lay. I remember this. This is a tough lay by Cade. But I want y'all to see. Look at this move. Ooh! I think Cade kind of lost the ball, but it was still a good D by Cat. I go back. That was crazy. Like OG was. Look up.
Damn, yeah, his ass touching the earth.
Hold on, bro.
I'm dead. All right, his ass planted all fours down here. Crazy.
I was like, oh my God. Shout out to Cat though. He came in. Nice defensive play. But yeah, man. Shout out to Cat. That's been a fun series so far. When that game 4? Is that tonight? Is that today?
I think it's tomorrow. It's not today.
Yeah, it is tomorrow. We got Rockets and Warriors tonight. Nuggets.
I had Knicks and 6 for that one, but we'll see.
Yeah, I also had Knicks and 6. And so what do you think? Like Detroit, like, what do you think they need in order to get this series back shifted their way?
I mean, I think of course they have to win game 4. I think that the best case scenario for that is, getting some of these other guys. I mean, Cade, I think is gonna have a good performance. I think he's gonna show up. But I think they need to have a big game from, one of their role players. Honestly, one of your guys who you kind of hate right now because he was a Laker and he didn't really do much as a Laker.
Malik Beasley.
Yeah, Malik Beasley. I think he needs to have a big game where maybe he hits like 5.
Shout out to Malik though. He had a great season this year.
I think he should be 6th man of the year. I don't think he's gonna get it though.
I think didn't Peyton Pritchard win it already?
He already. Oh yeah. See, that to me doesn't make no sense already. Because Peyton Pritchard had a really good season off the bench, but his impact for the Celtics is not even close to the impact that Malik Beasley has for the Pistons. Like Malik Beasley is their second most important offensive player. It's not even a question, and he comes off the bench. Peyton Pritchard isn't even like the third.
I think that's true. Yeah, I think especially with Jaden Ivey being out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you could argue without Malik Beasley, the Pistons like they're in the playing game or something. Like
yeah, I think so.
They probably are in the playing game, and yeah, he's probably like he's been huge for them. Like he's having one of the best 3-point shooting seasons of anybody in NBA history, and yeah, and like you look at Peyton Pritchard, he's been very efficient off the bench, but if you put all the players on the Celtics up, he's not their second, third, fourth best offensive player. Like it's not a question who should be 6th man of the year. But probably some Boston media bias or something like that.
Man, you know how that go. Boston.
Yeah. Did he really win it already?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's really the only series that's really got my attention. Apart from, we'll see what happens with Boston and Orlando. But I don't think Orlando has a chance to win. They just have a chance to maybe extend it. The Milwaukee and Indiana one, I said Pacers. I think in 6 or 7. I think I said Pacers in 7.
Yeah, I had Pacers in 7 as well. Hey, it was looking like it was going to be 3-0.
Yeah,
after the first half yesterday.
But yeah, that was also going into that series. We didn't know what the Dame situation was going to be like, and so I remember we heard that he was going to be playing, but it was still like up in the air as far as when he was going to play. So I was like, if they're missing him a certain amount of games, maybe he could come back and help. He really hasn't done anything since he's been back. He hasn't really been much of a factor. Crazy enough, they got freaking Gary Trent dropped 37 out of nowhere. Like what?
No, I mean, he's insane yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably a career high for him too, right? Like, it's just like that's
like maybe playoff career high.
Yeah. So yeah, it might even be a regular career high. But yeah, so that was huge. They can't count on that for damn sure. So Dame gonna have to show up. We'll see if he does in game 4. If he does, then yeah, this could be an interesting series, but I still don't know. Like he hasn't looked right, so I don't know if he's going to be able to be consistent whatsoever.
It's not like well, I don't know how does a blood clot affect the body, post like once you return. But I mean, regardless, he rusty. He hasn't played in a while.
Yeah, but I think it's more so that. But like, we'll see, because he was talking hella trash to Tyrese Halliburton. You saw that?
Yeah. I heard Tyrese like a big trash talker. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but
you saw that they put out that most overrated players list.
Yeah,
you saw that he was like far and away number 1 on the most overrated players.
He was number 1.
He was number 1.
I'm not mad at, but Tyrese still cold. Like somebody was telling me TJ McConnell should start over him. I was like, okay, let's relax. Let's relax right there. But Overrated. Okay, I hear that. I might even agree. But let's not act like Tyrese not cold, especially the second half of the season after All-Star break. He was dominating, bro. I'm talking about like he averaged like almost 11, 12 assists.
Do you remember?
And was putting up like less than 2 turnovers.
Yeah.
While scoring and being efficient. Like that
Yeah,
was
as a playmaker.
Second half of the
As
year.
oh no, I agree. As a playmaker, he's very good. Like I wouldn't say he's overrated. And that's but I think he's his scoring. His scoring is so like inconsistent, up and down. You don't really know whatever you're going to get from him in that regard.
Well, I think his aggression as a scorer,
yeah,
it's inconsistent. But I think that's predicated on his lack of creation as a scorer. Because if he can't like create separation, get that funky jump shot off, then he gonna struggle.
Did you see like the top 4 on that list, like for the most overrated? Did you see who it was? Who they had? Like
it was I know Tyrese was on there. Trae Young was on there.
It was Tyrese. Number 2 was Rudy Gobert. Number 3 was Trae Young. Number 4, you probably not even guessing for. Who do you think number 4 was?
Give me a hint.
All the players. This is not even somebody I thought that would be up. I mean, I didn't think he'd be like this high up on the list, but it's somebody that's actually a pivot. His availability is going to be pivotal in a series tonight.
In a series tonight. Hold on.
Come on, you definitely know what it is.
Oh, Jimmy?
Yeah, it's Jimmy Butler.
Oh.
They had Jimmy Butler as the 4th. Players believe he's the 4th most overrated player.
Because it's like, what is Jimmy good at? Like, I still don't know. Like, it's it's kind of crazy though. Like, he's not a good shooter.
I mean, he's a good mid-range shooter.
Is he?
I mean, like, kind of.
It's fake. Like there have been times when he's been a good mid-range shooter, and there have been times like
okay, we know he's good. He's a good defender. He's a good 2 elite
I agree
defender.
with that.
All right, he's a good playmaker, above a solid to good playmaker. He's an elite free throw getter, drawing fouls, getting to the line. He is elite.
Drifter.
That's what he does great. I don't even remember what it would have said. I remember I said something to you. It was like free throw rate all time or something like that.
Bro, you know this season
and it was like
he made more free throws than he made baskets.
I can believe it. But I literally read I can't even remember. I sent it to you too. It was like historically, statistically, he has the greatest free throw rate of all time since post Chicago or since Miami. Since Miami, he has like the greatest free throw. It's better than prime like Wilt and like Michael Jordan. Yeah, I remember I said something to you. I don't know if you saw it. It was a while ago. I probably sent it to you like a month ago. Free throw rate.
That's crazy.
But it was insane. I was like, what?
Freaking Jimmy Butler.
But yeah, so
greatest.
He gets to the line like
how dare you?
Crazy. They were showing like all the players like over the past like 30, 40 years, whatever, and like nobody's free throw rate was as high as Jimmy Butler's. He had the best, but it was specific. It was specifically post. It was literally once he got to Miami, and since then,
it's the same. Players get rewarded for foul grifting and flailing and doing all that, and then other players they just because they bigger, taller, and stronger than everybody, they don't be getting the good whistle.
But yeah, that's interesting though. People like a lot of players feel that way. I think the reason why he's on that list though is probably because players see the narrative about him being like this playoff Jimmy thing, and they probably like also feel like how I felt like people treat him now like he's a superstar because he had a couple like really good playoff runs, but it was like if you really contextualize his whole career, like he was not this monster in the playoffs most of his career, like not even most series. Like, and now people are like, oh, like they got Jimmy Butler. They Like, yes, of course, like he makes the Warriors better because the Warriors didn't have no other guy outside Curry that could be a consistent generator of offense. Like, literally, the entire defense is focused on Curry. So yeah, you get any additional star to that team, it's gonna be a huge difference and a huge positive impact for a team like that struggles offensively with just Steph Curry. So I mean, I do think that I could kind of see it, but I still was kind of surprised that they had him that high. Because I thought a lot of players like Jimmy, but I guess they probably don't like him that much.
maybe Pat Riley made everybody vote for that. All right, what's the next series?
Oh yeah, and then number 5 was Beal, which I get it now. I definitely get it now.
Oh, I saw this list. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna send it to you, and you can put it on. We can watch this. It's like 3 minutes long, but Mars from Players Choice.
Mm-hmm.
He said there was 66 players better than Bradley Beal. Look, I sent you the link to the tweet. See if you can pull it up on here. I want to watch it. I don't know. Overrated, I would agree with. 66 players better than him? Nah, I don't know about that one, Bradley. I don't know. Man, it's freaking flying him up. Flying in my face.
Let me see if I can find this.
You seen it, Drew?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I pull it up. I'm gonna play this in the meantime. I'll play this just right now.
Game, getting him off the line, and not fouling, and then getting the rebound.
Franz, how difficult was what you did tonight on both ends of the court, and how were you able to find a way down the stretch to lift your team in those last 2 layups?
Yeah, obviously they're a really good team. I thought our effort was great all night again. I thought we didn't, start the first half great and then ended it pretty bad too. And showed a lot of poise in that third to, hold a really good team to 11 points.
Talk a little bit more about that third quarter. It's been a struggle throughout the series so far to come out after the way you guys struggled to end the second quarter and put the clamps on defensively. What does that say about this team's resilience and focus in this kind of a game and in this series?
Yeah, I thought we showed a lot of character. Stuck together in that third, and then found a way to win the game.
Paolo, how would you best describe the performance that Franz had tonight?
I would say really gutsy. He was locked in from start to finish on both sides of the ball. It was just being ultra aggressive on both sides of the floor.
Paolo, how proud do you feel of the way that the team fought tonight under playoffs pressure?
Bradley Beal, I don't think Bradley Beal's overrated.
Yeah, he ain't did shit to be overrated. I don't get. Look at
Yeah, I
him.
don't. That might just be like they think he makes too much. I don't think he's overrated.
where is Bradley Beal in terms of a player? If you think he's overrated, where is he rated? Like, is Bradley Beal a top?
It's all about the money with Bradley Beal.
That's what I'm saying. Is he a top 30 player in the game today?
today?
No,
Is he a top 40 player in the game today?
No.
Is he a top 50 player in the game?
No.
Wow, Mars. Wow.
No.
Is he a top 50, is he a top 60 player in the game today? Today.
No.
Mars, you can't think of 60.
Yeah, come on.
Let's go through the league.
No,
Someone
that's
keep
too
count.
many. That's too many. Hell
Someone
no.
keep
Hold on,
count.
Mars.
I will do this quick. I will do this quick.
all of this. Mars,
Ron, I will do this in about a minute.
Can we do it quick,
All right, come on.
Mars, do it, Mars.
Wait, hold on.
No one cut me off. No one cut me off. These are going to be players who I think are better than Bradley Beal. No one cut me off.
Let's hear him.
Darius Garland,
Brad?
Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, Giannis, Dame, Cade, Paolo, Franz, Trey, anyone on the Bulls right now? Anyone on the Bulls right now? We'll forget the Bulls. Josh Giddey, Kobe White. Yeah, Kobe White.
Hell no.
Bam.
Are you putting them on?
No, leave them out.
All right.
Bam, Tyler Hero, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram. Anyone on the Nets? Cam Johnson, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, LaMelo. Anyone on the Wizards right now? Forget them. Shea, J-Dub, Chet, Isaiah Hartenstein, Alperen Şengün, Amen Thompson, LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, MPJ.
That's 40.
Christian Brown, maybe.
Way.
Kawhi, James Harden, Zoo.
No Norman, but yes, Christian.
Let me finish.
Keep going. What?
Julius Randle, Rudy
Hold on,
Gobert,
what?
Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid, maybe. Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, Jaren Jackson, Ja Morant, Desmond Bain, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, DeMontis Sabonis, Malik Monk, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving. Anthony Davis, Kyrie. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant.
That's 60.
Denny Avdia. Anyone else on the Blazers? No. Wemby, De'Aaron. That's it. Zion, Trey Murphy, Larry Markkinen. Every one of those names I think are better.
I disagree. I disagree. OG
Anunoby better.
I disagree with about 6. I disagree with about 6 to 7 of them. So
that's fine. So he's 58 to 67.
Yeah, 58, about 58.
What you think about that?
I definitely disagree with Christian Brown. Sorry.
I don't think he added that one. I think he was like, oh, maybe Christian Brown, maybe. But
No. He wasn't iffy about that one. He just said that one. He was the ones he was saying iffy where he was like iffy on Kobe White, iffy on Josh Giddey.
I thought he was iffy on Christian Brown.
I don't think he was.
But I disagree with Christian Brown, regardless, though. But
yeah, and I disagree.
Dang,
I disagree with Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson, I also disagree with that one too.
Really?
Yeah. Although, like, you could probably get more value in certain roles out of Cam Johnson. But like if you just saying,
let me ask you something, Drew. Because what is like, because how you just spoke, you said you can get more value in certain roles. If I want the best player on my team, and I had to choose between Cam Johnson and Bradley Beal, I'll choose Bradley Beal.
Of course.
But if I need somebody in a support role,
if you're my second best, if it's the second best player on my team, I'd also rather have Bradley Beal than Cam Johnson too.
Okay, but how good would your team be if Bradley Beal is your first or your second best player?
Depends on how good my first best player is.
I don't think Bradley
players. Like I'd rather have Bradley Beal next to on the Nuggets behind Nikola Jokic than I'd rather have freaking.
So if you had Jamal Murray and Jokic, you would rather have Bradley Beal than Cam Johnson?
Well, I didn't say we're not saying the Jamal Murray part. We're just saying the second best player to Nikola Jokic. So I'm saying like forget any other players right now. We're just saying like I have one player, my best player, my second best player is gonna be Bradley Beal. because then we not factor in the entirety of the whole roster and other pieces. Because yeah, if you talking about Jamal Murray being there, then yeah, Cam Johnson would be like what, maybe the 5th best player on that team, maybe the 4th best player, probably the 4th best player on that team,
I don't
4th
know.
or 5th.
Maybe 4th. I would probably put him over Porter Jr. to me.
Yeah. So yeah,
I'll
he
put him
probably
over Porter
he's probably the 4th then. So because he's definitely not over Aaron Gordon, and he's not over.
So I guess it depends on the construction of your team. Yeah, with the Cam Johnson one, it's a little bit iffy. But it's like, how good are you if you're in those, you got in those specific roles, you're not contributing to winning. You know, like if Bradley Beal's your number one guy, then I mean, yeah, I would definitely prefer that over Cam Johnson. But I mean, I'm not gonna win anything.
Yeah, but I think that's why I think as a number 2 guy, I think that you could potentially win, and you could potentially win at a high level. It's just depend. Like I said, it's all depending on just that first guy, a bona fide superstar, you know, or is he?
And I don't think Bradley Beal fits the bid, at least on the contract that he's on now, as a potential number 3 guy. Because he makes more than Booker and KD, and he's on the hold on, get these players' choice guys out of our thing. How we get out of there? And he has a no trade clause, so him as a number 3 for that team is a disaster.
Yeah, I mean that's just because they took him from the Wizards. Wizards gave him that crazy deal because they couldn't afford to get anybody else. So they just maxed out and gave him whatever he wanted because he was the best player that they were ever going to get at the time.
And then they I guess they didn't lose him for nothing. You know, you rather just
also he said something crazy too, which maybe he needs to be, maybe he was mistaken as far as what he was hearing or something, but he was like Norm Powell. They said Norm Powell, and he was like no. And I was also asked, I'm like, what do you mean? You said you wouldn't take Bradley Beal not over Norm Powell, but you take him over some of these other guys?
Christian Braun.
Yeah. I guess he's saying that he might actually believe that. He might think that he's better than Norm Powell. And you know what? You could make a case, but the case that you would have to make would be that best player case, that first player thing. Because Norm Powell has already shown as the 2nd best player this season and now 3rd best player that he is, better than Beal, literally in those roles. Because Beal has been the 2nd and 3rd best player on his team at best this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And really the 3rd best player he's been Beal. We see Powell has been a better 3rd best player than it's not even a question. He's just a better shooter, and he's also just more efficient, like in his role at what he does. He doesn't he's able to. Powell gets all of his buckets off catch and shoot, and off of closing out defense closing out to him, and him like penetrating off the catch. Like you swing it to him, he's wide open, bucket. You swing it to him, and the defense is trying to rush out to him because they late. It's either going to be a bucket or you're going to put the ball on the floor, blow by, floater. And he's really good at that floater, that little floater, and getting that little dropping off the glass when he gets right in the paint. He got really good touch around the rim. And so Beal is never really so efficient with his possessions when it comes he seems like he's not as good of a shooter off the catch. And he's just slower when he comes to his attacks. And defensively, Powell's a better defender. That's not even a question. So I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't have Powell over him. I mean, I would have Powell over him. But
pretty weird.
There were some other ones in there too that I was questionable, but I can't even remember them right now. but I do. It's honestly, from what I heard, I probably wouldn't have Beal on the top 60 either, from what the names he was saying. But I think he is
names he didn't say. He said OG at the end. I probably would take OG.
Yeah. I guess it really comes down to when you're talking about it, you're probably right. How much role are we factoring into it? And how much, is it just at the
Like-
best possible.
Like
the best.
for example, like you remember like toward the like end of the season, Josh Giddey was going on this crazy run, and he was like getting triple doubles and putting up these ridiculous stat lines and all that stuff. And like Trayvon, he texted me. He was like, "Oh, he said Alex Caruso not doing this," and I'm like, "Well, like sometimes like you choose the fit over the talent because what Josh Giddey was doing, he wasn't gonna be doing that on that OKC team at all.
Yeah.
And on top of being a terrible off ball shooter, negative defender at times, like he was getting benched fourth quarters and all that. Like he wasn't gonna do none of that for OKC. Alex Caruso was exactly what they needed, and he just enhanced their their identity of being a pest defensively. So yeah, Josh Giddey can do that on a team that's losing. He could be the best player potentially on the team that's losing, where Alex Caruso can be a support player on a championship contender, which which he was, and you seen that evident in that game 3 when he was just terrorizing them boys defensively. And Josh Giddey couldn't dream of doing something like that.
Yeah, so it's really like factoring how much better does it make do these players make a team in their roles? I guess you could say potentially like
Memphis up 27-25 right now in the first quarter with that season on the line. Scottie Pippen Jr.
He doing it again. I don't know how long they can keep it up. But yeah, I agree. Like, because Josh Giddey on the Thunder, like he would basically just be taken away from Shea, from SGA. I said Shea, but yeah, he would just be taken away from him, and he would be giving you less efficiency. It would just be a waste. And somebody like Alex Caruso as maybe the 5th best player on that team, 4th maybe.
I don't know.
Probably 5th best player on that team, but
maybe 5th to 6th.
Defensively, but defensively he's a really important piece, and he gives them something that they don't have, and it really allows them to just max out their defensive capability, their defensive versatility.
Man,
And
for real, they got everybody can defend. I think on that team, Caruso, SGA, J-Dub, Dort, Hartenstein, Case and Wallace.
Like a Hartenstein was one of the ones he said too. Like, I don't think Hartenstein's better than Beal, but depends on what you're talking about. Like,
It depends, and especially it's hard to compare the center, guard, roles. It's a lot of factors. I don't know. I think we should probably just, if we're gonna compare people within like similar roles, similar positions, you're saying like Hartenstein, then I don't know. Of course, you would say Jokic is better than Bill, but I don't know. Just weird. It's weird. What's the last series we need to speak about? Oh, did we speak on the Celtics one?
Yeah, we did. We talked on the Celtics one briefly. We didn't really go too much into it, but yeah, we talked about how Franz was hooping in
how many their injuries.
And their injuries, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think we touched on all. We didn't really talk much on the Indiana one, but we did talk about it. We talked about all of them, really. I think we touched on all of them. But yeah,
let's get some predictions for the games tonight. So, of course, the Cavs already won 124-87. OKC and Grizzlies. Oh, you already said OKC wins tonight, right?
Yeah, I think it's over. I think after they lost that game 3, and you know what? I'm gonna still stand by my original prediction just because I don't like switching up. But my original prediction was OKC in 5. No, but they lost Ja. Nah, I'm allowed to switch up. It's a massive injury. All right, so I think they get swept now. I think OKC is gonna sweep them. But I did have, before Ja got hurt, I had OKC in 5.
Yeah, series is over. But we'll see.
Rockets and Warriors tonight. We gotta see about the status of Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, so with this series, the Rockets and Warriors won. This is the hoop. This hoop grid. Okay, the Rockets and Warriors won. Going into the series, I thought I don't want the Rockets to lose, and I really want them to win, and that's my team. But if I was being honest, I had the Warriors. I think the Warriors would probably beat us in 6. That's what I was saying, but I don't want to believe it. F that. We gonna beat them tonight. But if I had to be objective and just say what I truly believe, that especially if I factor in my quote unquote keys and factors and stuff like that, yeah, we don't have really any experience in comparison to them. I do think talent wise, you can make a case for us, but I think it's relatively close. Like top end talent, the Warriors. Overall talent, the Rockets, I think pretty clearly. But is Jimmy Butler fully healthy? And how limited is he going to be now? And so that goes into another one of the factors, health. If Jimmy is limited, if he can't be playoff Jimmy, or if he, then that talent level thing is very close. The injury thing is in our favor. And then we're talking about experience. Yes, that's clearly in their favor, but we could potentially win the talent one and the injury one, potentially. And coaching, you have to give it to the Warriors probably, but honestly, that's kind of close. We don't really know. Ime is a great coach. We haven't really seen him in a lot of playoff series. He's only lost one playoff series that we have seen him lose is the finals against the Warriors, and that was to Steve Kerr. So we'll see. But I think coaching, you could say, is a pretty close. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how Jimmy's gonna look. But I think that you have to say you have to lean the Warriors unless Jimmy literally is, limited significantly. And then that talent and our youth could actually work in our favor here because he's just not right. And it might outweigh the experience that they have. But going on the road, it's going to be tough. I want to see how these young guys respond. But yeah, I did say Warriors in 6, but it's still up in the air because we got some other factors that play right now. So, but I would love it to be Rockets in 6. Let's just say. As far as the Nuggets and Clippers, I think Clippers are going to win tonight and have a stranglehold on the series. They're going to go up 3-1. I did have Clippers in 6. I still think it might be Clippers in 6. I think that Jokic still could have a potential monster game in him, and it might be that game 5 back in Denver. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they respond tonight. Is this going to be a close game like the first two, or are the Clippers going to beat the brakes off them again? If the Clippers beat the brakes off them again, then I think it's going to be probably over. But we'll see. Yeah, that's my feelings on this series right now for tonight. What you think is going to happen tonight?
I think OKC gonna close it out. I think SGA gonna finally have a great game. I think he's already starting to have a pretty good game. Start off. I'm about to cut it on when we get off of here. I think OKC closes it out. I think the Clippers win tonight too. My prediction was Clippers in 6. Thought they got the split on the road. They're gonna take care of business at home. Kawhi is gonna have a robot night. I think this game is gonna be kind of similar to the first 2 games. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but I do think the Clippers may edge it out. Shout out to Chris Dunn, by the way. He's been defending like a maniac this series, especially when Westbrook been on the court, because he can be like a free safety and just go wherever he wants to on the court. But yeah, I'm gonna pick the Clippers tonight. With the Rockets and Warriors, man, I just got to see the availability of Jimmy, because if my prediction was Warriors in 7, so I thought this series gonna be close. Even with Jimmy, if Jimmy out or if he's severely hampered, Man, things I don't know, might be looking good for you, Drew. It might be looking good for you, Drew. But
what I would love is Jimmy to be fully healthy, all perfectly good, and we still beat that ass like we did in that last game we played in the regular season against them. I really want to see tonight a duplication. I mean, we're not gonna hold Steph Curry to 3 points, but I would love to see a repeat of that last game we had against them when we went and beat them, and it was in Chase Arena, and Curry was looking flustered, like he wasn't able to really get it going, and Jimmy was really not giving him that much support. I think Jimmy had like maybe 12 or 13 points that game, and he wasn't injured at all. I want to see us have that same level, the same defensive intensity we had the first 2 games. We need to have tonight, but I want to see those young guys still. I think who was big first in that game? Of course, Jalen was big in the second half. Dylan had some big threes. Sengun played well. It was like a collective effort, team win, you could say. It needs to be that type of performance again, and this man out of there.
Well, there's a will, there's a way.
Let me get the your twin out of here.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. But
I'm talking from my medical lesson.
All right. But yeah, we could dang, we've been on here for 2.5 hours. Whew.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
A lot
You know
to
what?
catch up on.
Yeah, it's a lot. So, and we got some more to it. We're gonna leave it there. We're gonna leave it at that, man. It's been a fun episode to bounce back on. We can do the hoop grid next episode.
Yes, sir. Got to see what happens with these games tonight. I need see, this is, you know what this shirt's symbolic of right here? This is Harden going off, but a Clippers win. Get it?
Clippers won that game.
Because Harden goes off, Clippers win. That's what we going for.
Who would have thought you would have been supporting the Clippers?
Man, I hate the Clippers. I hated the Clippers so much, but they got a new culture, man. A whole new culture. A new leader. This would be, I swear, this would be such an epic. No, not epic. It would be a poetic finish to like Harden's whole narrative of his career. If the Clippers like went and won a championship this year, bruh, that would be insane. Like nobody thought y'all were even going to make the playoffs going into the season. They're like no PG, then no Kawhi to start the season. Clippers ain't making the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
they make the playoffs. Kawhi comes back. He's looking like he's back in like prom shape for the most part, or superstar level, close enough. We just gonna say he's back, and so they're hooping. They're playing the best ball of their career. They look like a pretty complete team on both sides, and they run through the playoffs and go win a championship with Harden as a leader of the team, bruh. That would shatter every narrative, and it would destroy all expectations because nobody had it happen. Everyone completely, the book was already closed on this dude.
the book was closed and he just reopened the book and they go win a championship. Man, that would be the story. That would be one of the best stories in NBA history.
Agreed.
Like it would be, but like I don't know. I mean, I'm way too far ahead right now. So we gonna see that shit. We gonna see what happens. But man, like I said, don't
what
let
if they go up 3-1 and then the Nuggets.
Hey, Harden has never blown a 3-1 lead, and he ain't gonna blow one now. He's also never been swept. A lot of people don't know this. He's one of the few players in NBA history. He ain't never been swept. He gonna get you one. He gonna get you one. Yep.
He never got swept.
He's never been swept. Here, peep this. Peep this. He's never missed the
When they
play.
lost to Golden State in 2016. Oh, they lost in 5.
Yeah. He beat this. He's never missed the playoffs, and he's never been swept. And also, he ain't never blown no 3-1 lead. It ain't gonna happen today. All right, ain't gonna happen this year. But but yeah, it's a matter of time though. So we're gonna see because this is like what his 15th straight.
Oh, Willie.
But yeah, like I said, just don't let it be a Rockets Clippers Western Conference Finals. I'm gonna be real nasty. But but for that to happen, I need the Minnesota Timberwolves to take y'all out. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. But I don't see us beating y'all, and I'm gonna be really mad if we have to play the Lakers. So
I already know.
Minnesota though, Minnesota.
Yeah,
I actually think we can beat them.
Your Nico Harrison time right now.
I need Luka to have that stomach virus for a couple more days. Just a couple more days, Luka.
I don't need that.
Yeah. Or at the very least, I need that series to go as long as our series goes. So if we lose, I need y'all to lose. So but yeah, so we're gonna see.
All right, well, that's the end to this episode. Thank everybody for pulling up, watching on YouTube, IG Live. We're gonna be back soon. Me and Drew, we having some busy schedules, but we're gonna make some time to record, especially since we we got this whole what you call this plan now on StreamYard. So Drew, you got anything to say before you wrap it up?
Nah, man, let's close out. Let's go see these games.
All right, thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like the video, share, subscribe, and that's it. Peace.